Okay, some bad news here. There are now essentially you now need a business, you need a work visa, or you need a business license to open a bank account in China. This is a new rule. Actually, it's I feel a little bit bashful in the sense that I have some recent videos that talk about bank accounts, and I just didn't know that this had gone into effect. It went into effect about 4 or 5 months ago, and the banks have started to implement it now. And so I did a little looking online, and and then I sent some WeChats to my friends. I put out some feelers, and shit, sure enough, I have a buddy of mine who has friends in Dongguan, which is a city right near me, who indicated that not only are people without a visa being denied, a work visa being denied, but there were 4 or 5 people that got called in by local Guangdong banks. Again, by bank, not national banks. Okay, not a national bank like here, ICBC. This is a national bank, or higher China Merchants, Jiaoshang Yinhong. Well, they were called in by the bank locally there in Dongguan and told them that their bank cards were canceled. So you want to think about that if you've got your money in a local bank, and you certainly should think about it if you are considering moving to China and not getting a work visa. So this is kind of an alarm and alert. I'm sorry I didn't have it on my channel sooner, but it doesn't affect me. Back long ago, you could open a bank account at a drop of a hat. They would take, and it was like 10 minutes, no cares, nothing, no credit check, no nothing, boom, boom, boom. I've had 6 or 7 or 10 different bank accounts. At any rate, so this is a national rule, like I told you, although it seems to be being enforced more strictly here in Guangdong province. So here, I looked here, this guy, I'm in Shenzhen right now, it's December 2017, and I've been told no by 2 banks, Bank of China and ICBC. So this is for a new account, all right? And this guy, wow, sorry to hear about it. Thanks for getting back to me. I'm in Shanghai right now. I have tried 4 different banks. They said I must have a working visa or approved business contract. So, needless to say, okay, here's another. The first one question is, well, why is this happening? Is it are they after English teachers? Are they trying to force English teachers out? Are they trying? No, not really. I don't believe that's the case at all. Right now, they've got China is stepping up these capital controls, okay? And Chinese citizens themselves are finding, well, you can see there's a limit on how much you can withdraw when you're overseas. China launches new capital controls, so their bank cards, and I also noticed with Alipay, I used to be able to purchase things overseas, websites that were overseas that would do Alipay processing. About half of them are not allowing me to do it. And for companies and businesses that are based outside of China. Now, one question is, one question you're probably thinking now, well, if you're not the type of person who's going to qualify for a work visa, should I even come to China now? Because you're not going to be able to use, you won't be able to use WeChat as well. Like here, it says, look, here, this guy's without Alipay and WeChat Pay, are you screwed in Shanghai? Well, to some extent, you're screwed wherever you go. Now, Yeah, because you need to have a bank account to link to it. As another update, here's another update, you guys. Right now in Shenzhen, I talked to a manager at a school, a huge English school chain, and here's another update. They are not issuing work visas unless you actually rent an apartment. So this, I should probably make a separate video on it, but here it goes anyways. You are not, you can't just stay in a hotel. They have to show that you have to show that you actually have leased an apartment. All right, which is also fucked. Excuse my language, excuse my French there, but wow. So if you are considering coming over here, let me go take a step back. This guy that I spoke with last night here in Shenzhen, he was saying that at his particular school they were having trouble. They actually were having to pay teachers in cash. Okay? Because normally at the big schools, they always pay you through a bank account. It's like a set in stone procedure. No one dreams of it any other way. And so now all of a sudden that's fucked up their payment, the way they handle payments in their accounting system. And they've just been giving out people money in cash. Now, of course, if you've already been here and you're already set up and you've already got bank accounts, they're not going to steal your money. They're not going to take your money and run. That would provoke, and it would destroy their reputation. It would hurt. There's no way that would happen, because there would be thousands of business people that are here with trade companies. They come and purchase things, and they come in and out of Shenzhen. I know many of them. I go to factories with many of them. And they would immediately complain to the commercial section of their local consulates, whether it's American citizens or French citizens, German citizens, and they'd say, whoa, you're impeding. I mean, it would be like theft. So no one really dreams they're going to take your money away or you won't be able to get it. But one thing is, if your bank card gets canceled and you're traveling and you expect, in another city or in Hong Kong to be able to make a withdrawal. Now, I've checked recently and all of my accounts are working just fine, including my cards. But I've had work visas for years. I've been in China, and I don't have a local Guangdong bank account. This is one thing at a local Guangdong-based bank. There are some Guangdong-based banks. As I mentioned earlier, it happened in Dongguan that some foreigners were given notice and they were actually called in and informed that their bank card is canceled. And I assume, I should probably ask the guy again, I assume that either they returned the money to them right there, or they just said, well, you can keep your account open, but you can't use your card anymore. But at any rate, just so, I guess if you are considering coming over to China and you're not someone who would qualify for a work visa, I think perhaps you should think carefully about this. I went off on a tangent there. Again, another update is that the Shenzhen, this is a local policy. A local policy here in Shenzhen, they're not issuing your visa, they're not giving the foreign expert certificate, etc., all of that, and giving you your full year-long permission to stay without showing evidence that you have rented an apartment. It just qualifying in a hotel. This particular manager, he's not a Chinese guy. He's a foreigner, and he said, "Look, we're getting visas turned down because their registration shows they're staying at a hotel." Okay, that's just dead factual. Okay, um, so that's a screwed up thing too. So at any rate, should you come to China? Should you not come to China? Well, things in China can change radically, and I. I think this is definitely something that, because if you can't have a bank account, there are tons of schools that will still hire you. There are tons of schools that'll still hire you. There's still huge demand. Many of those schools won't even fucking, excuse my French, won't even know about this new rule to as it applies to foreigners. Really, they won't even know. 90% of these schools, they won't even know about it, okay, until people tell them. All right, because it applies to foreigners. And so they'd still hire you and they'll still pay you in cash. All right, but you need to think about whether it's worth your while, whether you want to do that. You stay here for a year, you save $1,000 a month, and you've got $10,000 in cash and renminbi sitting around your apartment. Now you can go to Hong Kong and change it. You could change your money. You can get your dollars and walk out of China with your money, right? That's not the question. Is the risk of keeping a bunch of cash around because you don't have a bank account anymore, or you're not able to get one. That having a bank account, that is, you don't have that anymore as part of your calculus, part of your expectations of what's going to happen when you come here. So right now I'm on the edge of whether I'd recommend coming here if you can't qualify for a work visa, or if you are not going to be setting up a business. Now, setting up a business has gotten easier and easier and easier. It's getting incredibly easy compared to what it used to be. Holy moly, it's incredibly easy. And that's because of the reciprocal treatment that Chinese business people experience in the United States. I mean, getting a business license in the United States is like walking up to a vending machine. You just put in your couple bucks and bingo, you've got it. So the idea is that there's going to be fair trade and fair play between the countries along these lines, and so China is opening up more along those lines. But then now if you think about these new China, let's think, grades, foreigners. So if you may be aware that China is now putting in these different rankings or these classifications. Oh no, this is a China-based website, so it'll be screwed up. I'm on a VPN right now, obviously, but so you can see that China is well, they don't want foreigners quite so much as they used to. It's sort of like the technology. They used to just, beg foreigners for their technology. Now they're making it themselves. They're doing it themselves. China used to need foreign capital. They'd beg for investments. Now they don't need it. They've got their own capital. They used to just beg for foreign management know-how, MBAs that could teach them business processes, finance, etc. They don't need that anymore. So as soon as they don't need you anymore, are you a class A, B, C foreigner? And it's also ironic because they're exceedingly uncivilized. And no one, if you've looked through my videos, you'll never see me applauding the general trajectory. There's a leader of the Mormon Church in Hong Kong that used that term so well. What is the general trajectory of a country, of a group of people? You'll never hear, you can't accuse me of ever being a big supporter of what is arguably China's sort of nationalistic, the nationalistic trajectory or trend that you see here in China. So I guess that now, so it's kind of surprising, big update, and I'm sorry I didn't get it up on the website sooner. All right, so okay.